Hi there everybody and welcome back to the Blossom Crochet channel. In this crochet tutorial I will be showing you how to crochet this absolutely beautiful stitch. So you can use this stitch for baby blankets, really large throws and afghans as well, but you can also obviously use it for some much smaller projects like scarves and things as well. So I'm just going to lift it slightly so that you can see the detail of this stitch. It really is absolutely gorgeous. And it is only a 1 row repeat, which is absolutely great. You can see you get these perfectly straight edges as well on either side, and it's just a really nice one to work up. So you get a little bit of texture and then you get this gorgeous stitch definition as well. It really is a lovely one. So this is a baby blanket that I am making, and this is being made using the King Cole Beaches DK, and this is the shade called Shell Beach. So that is the one that is being used here to make this beautiful baby blanket. You can use absolutely any yarn that you like, just use the recommended hook size for your chosen yarn. As you work up, this is what your top edge will look like, so I will show you at the end of the tutorial how to straighten off this top edge as well. So yeah, that is how that baby blanket is looking at the moment. It's really, really nice. So sticking with the beaches, for the tutorial I'm going to be using the absolutely beautiful Beaches and Cream shade. So obviously we're going to be starting with our slip knot on our hook, and then you want to do your foundation chain in a multiple of 4. So sets of 4 until your project is the width that you need it to be. So yarn over, pull through, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you just complete your groups of 4. Okay, so once you've got your desired length, you want to work back to your 4th chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and this is our 4th. And into this 4th chain, we're going to put 3 treble crochets. So that is 3 UK treble crochets. In the US, do remember that these are your double crochet. So for the entirety of the project, when you hear me say treble, if you're used to US terms, just think double. Okay, so into the 4th chain, we're going to do 3 trebles. So yarn over, insert into your 4th chain, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, and then back into the same chain, you'll do 2 more. So 2 and 3. So we've got our skipped chains at the beginning, which count as part of our stitches, and then we've got 3 UK trebles. You then want to skip 3, so you're going to skip 1, 2 and 3, and then slip stitch into the 4th. So insert your hook and slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through both of those loops. And then that just pulls our stitch down so that it is slanted, which is what we want, is leaning one way. You then want to straight away chain 2, and then into this same chain, you can see it's slightly pulled up so it's nice and easy to see, you'll do 3 trebles again. So 1, 2 and 3. And then again you'll skip 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the 4th, like so, and then you're ready to start your next block with a chain 2. So you've done your chain 2, and then you'll do 3 trebles into that same chain. Like I say, it'll always be nice and easy to see because it'll be slightly pulled up on this foundation row. 2 and 3, and then once more skip 3 and slip stitch into your 4th, chain 2, and then 3 trebles, and you'll just repeat that all the way along until you get towards the end of your foundation row, which is where I will meet you in just a second. So I've got my final set of 4 stitches here, so you're going to skip 3 and then slip stitch into that 4th and final chain. So you'll slip stitch, and that is how you should look at this point. Obviously yours will be much, much bigger than mine. Okay, so that is your foundation row. So at this point you want to chain 3. So you'll chain 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to turn your work around. And then into this big space here that you'll have just before your block, you're going to put 3 trebles straight into this big space here. So straight into that space you'll do 3 trebles. It's 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to jump across these 3 trebles here, and then you've got this chain stitch here. And in between your 3 trebles and your chain stitch that you've got, you're going to slip stitch. So skip the 3 trebles and then slip stitch just before that chain stitch. And then you're going to start your normal blocks. So you'll chain 2, and then into this space here where we've slip stitched into, you'll do 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And then again at this point you're going to skip the 3 trebles of the next block on the row below, and then in between your final treble and your chain stitches, which are just here, you'll slip stitch into there. So skip the 3 trebles and slip stitch just in between your trebles and your chains. You'll chain 2, and then again into this same space you'll do 3 trebles. And then again skip the next 3 trebles and then slip stitch into the space between your trebles and your chains. And you just continue that all the way along, and I will meet you just as you get towards the end of your row. Okay, so at this point I'm right at the end. I've got 3 trebles and then our chains that we skipped, and you're just going to slip stitch into that final space between your trebles and your chain stitches. And again, this is how you should be looking. Doesn't look like much until you work up a few rows. Again, now you're going to chain 3. Obviously if you were changing colours you would do it at the end of your row. Attach your yarn and chain 3. We're going to turn. Okay, so this now is your row repeat, because obviously the last row was slightly different. So this is your row repeat. So we've chained 3 and turned, and then you can see here we've got 2 blocks, one on top of the other. But if you just pull them apart slightly, you've got that lovely big space there. So you've got the tops of these trebles here, and then you've got the base of that first treble here. But if you just pull them apart, you can really see that lovely space. And you're going to put your 3 trebles into that space. So yarn over into that space between your blocks and do your 3 trebles. Okay, and then skip those 3 trebles here and slip stitch in between your final treble and your chains. So slip stitch into there, and then you're ready to start your normal blocks by chaining 2 and then into that space your 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And then again skip the top of the next 3 trebles and work your slip stitch in between the treble and the chains. Chain 2, and then again into that space 3 trebles. And you can work that all the way once more to the end of your row, which is where I will meet you in a second. So I'm right at the end of my row. So I've done my final slip stitch and chain 2. I've got this last space to work here, and I will do my final 3 trebles. And you just need to take care when you approach the end of your rows, because if you don't get this bit right, you will end up with very wonky sides. You can go completely off if you don't get this bit right. So you'll do your final 3 trebles, and then if I just lay this flat, you can see we've got one entire block here sticking out. So we've worked our last block it might look like you need another block, but you absolutely don't. Okay, so do your last block here, and then you will skip these 3 trebles as normal and slip stitch in between that final treble and that chain space. Okay, so skip these 3 trebles, you can see the tops of them here, and then slip stitch in between the final treble and that chain. Okay, so you'll slip stitch into there. Now, like I say, you might think that you needed another stitch there. You might feel like you needed to do another block, but you don't. You want to slip stitch and just finish there, because it looks like your edge is going to be wonky. You can see it goes straight there and then whoop in like that. But that is what we want, okay? Because when we chain 3, we will do our other block here, which will lean this way, which will fill in this space here and make this edge perfectly straight up there like that. Okay, so it will look wonky as you finish each row, but that is what you want. And then again you will chain 3 and turn, and then straight into this space here, this lovely space. When you pull apart these blocks, you will do your 3 trebles. I'm just doing this so that you can see how it evens out the ends of your rows. 3, and then again slip stitch across as normal. And you can see now we've got a straight edge. And then again, you'll be ready to continue. So like I say, it is a 1 row repeat. So that last row is the row that you will repeat over and over again until your project is the size that you need it to be. Okay, so I've completed my last block again. And remember, you don't want to have a block that overhangs here. You want it to be a space here, and then you will skip your final 3 trebles and slip stitch in between that last treble and these chains here. So you will slip stitch to bring that block down, and then again it will be straight and then in, and that's what you want. Okay, and then once more chain 3, turn, and continue your block stitch. Okay, and once you have repeated that as many times as you like, you will get something that looks like this, which is absolutely gorgeous. And now I'm going to show you quickly how to even off this top line. So you will chain 3 as usual. So from this point, we're actually going to be working into the tops of our stitches. So normally we would be skipping these, but we're going to be working into the tops of the stitches. Each time, make sure that you get the whole of the stitch, so make sure that you get the whole of that B across the top of your hook. So we've chained 3 and turned, and then into this first treble here, this first one right here, you're going to put a treble, so a UK treble into that stitch. Into the next treble, you're going to put a half treble or a half double, so yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through all 3. Into your final treble of this set, you will just do a UK double or US single into that final treble. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both. We're then going to slip stitch into where we would normally do, like at the end between our stitches here. We will slip stitch into that space. And then we're ready again to work straight down into the top of our next treble. So you're going to do treble, half treble, double, or double, half double, single. Okay, and then slip stitch into that space between your chain and your final trebles. And then again, treble, half treble, double, and then slip stitch. So you'll continue that all the way along. I've only got a couple of stitches left here, so I will just finish these. So treble, half treble, double, and then I will do my final slip stitch into that space as normal, so slip stitch to finish. And you can see that just straightens off that top edge for you, ready to add whatever border you wish to. Obviously at this point, if you're completely finished, you'll chain 1, snip off and pull that through. But you can just see that gives you a decent straight edge across the top of your work, ready to build up any border rows that you might choose to use. So I know I've only made a tiddly sample here, but hopefully with seeing this nice big one, you can see exactly how. Let me just zoom out a little. You can see exactly how that is going to look as you work it up. But that's it for this tutorial. I really do hope that you have enjoyed this one. If you have, please do remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. But I will see you for another tutorial really, really soon. But thank you as always for watching, and bye for now.